Well, hello.
All right. Hey, everybody. This is the Circle Jerk, number 14, I believe, the week of, well, it's the end of the week. It's the 12th. So I guess, do you call it like the week of the 6th? I don't know how this works mathematically. Who cares? Anyways, I am joined today by Red. Okay. Good friend Casey.
Yep.
He looks like he's a little stressed.
No, I'm not stressed. I'm tired.
That works too.
Yeah.
I'm joined by Glebs and Colin, who his face is it's just a screenshot of his face at the moment and brief robotic microphone sounds. So I think he's having some issues there with his mic. But Colin, do you have any words for us? No.
Well, maybe he's a robot.
He might be a robot. That would make sense. Probably, he seems like such a robotic guy. Just kidding, I don't know anything about him. Anyways, this week in the group, we've had a lot of shit talking about the polyamory group, which is funny because that's been around for like how long now? How long have we had that group kind of like tethered? Just
Close to for a couple months at least.
I think we discussed it for the first time in Circle Jerk number 2.
Number 2, that might make sense, yeah. We have some... Oh, okay. Hold on. I have somebody who wants to join us, so I'm going to send them the link. But, yeah, anyways. So, that group has been a wonderful source of entertainment. They get crazier and crazier by the minute. So, I don't know if any of you guys managed to have a stake in that place so that you can look at some of the crazy shit they do. I don't know. But
I joined.
I'm actually quite unusual in the group, but I've never been anywhere near it. I've seen screen images that people share, and that's as close as I want to get. It really is just a rerun of Atheism Plus. It's identical, the same massive rules that have got nothing to do about the base thing. It's not about polyamory. It's about social justice warriors. Like Atheism Plus had nothing to do with atheism. It's just this like little subculture where they're imposing rule after rule upon each other that they have to strictly adhere to, and the admins became god characters in their own little universe. It was just really, really poisonous. And that's just all I see from polyamory. It's the exact same image.
Yeah, the similarities uncanny. Oh, and that's like would be punching down if we discussed the appearance of their admins. Because have you seen those photos?
Oh my god! I don't want to say anything.
a lot of them are very interesting people. I'll just say that they have interesting.
I'm sure I'll get berated for calling her a woman because I don't know what she identifies as. But the one that got the little sort of like tash above her lips.
I don't know if she's actually an admin there. Okay, her name.
A man wouldn't find that attractive, and surely a woman wouldn't find that attractive. So what demographic is she aiming to with that little horrible tash above her?
Just so you're aware, her name is Paint. Like, she had it legitimately changed by whatever the state of Canada. I don't fucking know what Canada has.
Okay.
Her name has been changed to Paint legally.
Oh, this is. I guess this is what she was eating as a child. Oh, paint chips.
Chips, yeah.
She needs to open a shop just for the name opportunity of paint shop.
Paint shop. We sell anything but paint. I don't know. They're a very interesting. But yeah, a lot of those admins are very different.
Yeah.
And
Maybe.
then like you said about it's like an atheism plus rehashing. Didn't what was it? Didn't Shives like a week ago or so suggest like atheism plus 2.0 or something like that?
Yeah, it was. It was a month or so ago. It was intersectional atheism.
No fucking way. Did they really say that?
Yeah, it's Steve Shives. Well, he made this video. Basically, this video, if I'm not mistaken, it was him sitting on the toilet in his grandma's house and making a video. This great new idea of making intersectional atheism, and well, basically exactly what Atheism Plus was, and it was such a success the first time. So naturally, it was only appropriate to do the same stuff again. Because,
I was wondering if his grandma actually pulled him to one side and said, "Look, Steve, any chance you could take that fucking baseball cap off, even while you're visiting me?"
Oh,
It's all right, grandson. I know you're going bald. Don't worry.
Steve, I picked up your Rogaine while I was out at the market. Grandma, stop! I'm making a video for the internet. Gosh.
Man, I don't get that about maybe for the older guys. Like when you guys are starting to lose your hair, why don't you guys just shave it? It at least looks sophisticated, and to shave the head, it makes you look.
man.
Yeah.
Besides, oh, by the way, I think I know why he's wearing this baseball cap. Because
Why?
fedora would be too mainstream.
He's got to tip the baseball cap all the time.
Yeah.
He identifies.
Well, you know what's funny is something I recently found out. Actually, it was in that polyam group. Was that like? Oh, first off, Sai, do you have Mexican music playing in your house? Where's that coming from? It's somebody's microphone. I don't know whose.
So you can just mute everyone one by one. And
All right, here we go. We're gonna play a little Russian roulette. All right, that wasn't. Hold on, let's see. No, it wasn't Sai. Heidi, it's you. Oh, Heidi, you can unmute yourself, but if you can keep yourself muted while you're not talking, just so we can avoid the. Oh, it's not you. Wait, who is it?
it'd be funny if it was you.
It's not me. I don't have any Mexican music playing in my house. I'm pretty sure it's Mexican music. Who's culturally appropriating? We tested the only Mexican.
Oh Jesus.
Not me.
It sounds like Denny's place to me.
Selling my place?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. It's gone. All right. Peace and quiet.
So your parents probably try to get into some romantic music while you're locked up in your room, you know.
No. My dad's downstairs being a lazy asshole, and my mom's upstairs being a lazy asshole. That's how it works. It stopped. It stopped very much so. I don't know what it was, but all right. Now, no more Mexican music.
Cultural appropriation.
So you're all good. Heidi, you could unmute yourself now. It wasn't you. We were it was some sort of magical, mystical. I was talking about something important. Not really, but. Oh yeah, I was in the polyamory group. I saw something this week that I found out was interesting about fedora-related stuff. And it was that. What was it? Oh, so well, we always make fun of people who wear those as like white knights, and it's like that's our side of the chain. They also think the same thing of those kinds of people. They think that they're all MRAs. So it's like. It's a toss-up, Like, they call everybody who wears fedora... So basically, what I've discovered is if you wear a fedora, everybody's going to hate you. Everyone. Nobody likes you.
First off, that's a trilby, not a fedora.
Whatever.
Are you suggesting that feminists judge people based on what they dress as? I mean,
yep.
Surely
that's what I'm suggesting.
That's just
the only
irrational.
people I've ever seen wear fedoras are angry lesbians. Like, I don't know.
By the way, was it in polyamory that someone said that men shouldn't wear fedoras because it would be lesbian culture appropriation?
Okay,
I saw it somewhere. It was
that makes no sense whatsoever because it was it was typically a man's headwear.
Who would you be culturally appropriating?
Yeah.
What culture?
Someone Wikipedia when the fedora was invented.
Would be the suit maybe?
The lesbians.
Hello.
The lesbians? Sorry, nobody cares about your lesbianism.
No. They were trying to say in polyamory that it was culturally appropriated from the lesbian culture.
Did they really say that?
Yes, I was there. I saw it. I'm
going to the
serious.
group and I'm looking for it. I'm gonna look for this fucking shit out.
I know someone took a screenshot, I think, maybe.
Okay, now I hear a
Sorry,
record
I'm kind of
scratching.
sick, so I can't talk much.
So Mexican music's back, and there's a record scratching. God damn it. Okay, you know what? New policy. If you're not talking, everybody mute your fucking mic.
Where is this Mexican music coming from? I don't understand.
Ghost in the Machine.
I don't
Can I
either.
just point out, I just discovered something which I think is a bit interesting. Fedora on Wikipedia. It was originally a woman's hat. The hat was fashionable for women, and the women's rights movement adopted it as a symbol in 1924. Interesting.
So we are culturally appropriating feminists.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say.
Sorry, sorry.
I figured it would have been something.
I said it in proper English, not this Mexican English, so people understood it better. Okay.
I figured it would have had something to do with like zoot suits or something. Like, doesn't the zoot suit come with like? Isn't it also? Wait, let's see. They usually wear some sort of hat. I'm gonna look at it. What kind of hat do they wear?
Almost everyone is muted, but music is coming from somewhere.
I don't understand. Okay, hold on.
Ah. Yeah, I told you it was bloody Denny.
It wasn't me. Look, it's not me.
You were muted, and the music stopped instantly.
It stopped when Sai muted. Watch, Sai, unmute yourself right now. Do it, Sai. Do it. Do it, Sai. Oh, it's you, huh? It's you with the Mexican music. I fucking told you. Alright, let's see. The word fedora comes from the title of an 1882 play by dramatist Victorien Sardou, Fedora being written for Sarah Bernhardt. The play was first performed in the United States in 1889. Bernhardt played Princess Fedora. That sounds so funny. Princess Fedora, all the men tipped at her on a regular basis. The heroine of the play. During the play, Bernhardt, a notorious cross-dresser, wore a center-creased, soft-brimmed hat. The hat was fashionable for women, and the women's rights movement adopted it as a symbol. After Prince Edward of Britain started wearing them in 1924, it became popular among men for its stylishness and its ability to protect the wearer's head from the wind and weather. Since the early part of the 20th century, many Haredi, I've never heard that term before, and other Orthodox Jews have made black fedoras normative to their daily wear. So are we Jewish appropriating, are we appropriating feminists, or are we appropriating British princes?
We're just hitting all of them. We're just getting them all out of the way. Just like whack-a-mole.
So it's like the worst hat you could ever wear.
Exactly.
This is what I'm understanding.
Exactly.
I do love the fact that feminists hate fedoras, and it's their hat originally.
Well, it's the same way how they hate that color pink is now associated with females, and it's oppressive and patriarchal, even though the color pink was used to be associated with male children, and
Yeah, boys. Yeah.
women culturally appropriated it.
Because boys were originally called girls, weren't they?
Every child was called a girl,
yeah.
regardless of gender, and boy was basically meant slave or something, right? I think Dr. Rendermaker made a video about this. So, girl was child of any gender, man was adult of any gender. There was a woman and vermin. This was female and male adult, and boy used to mean slave, basically.
It's not like you said vermin there. That's a totally different
woman
thing.
and I don't remember.
Well, that also comes with like the same sort of thing happened with the origin of pink, right? Like, or pink being a girl's color. Like, it started with pink being a boy's color, right? Pink was like a boy's color, and then what happened was like feminists or something didn't. Let me look it up. It had something to do with like feminists didn't like that, like, you know, the color was gender just for boys. They were like, we can wear pink.
It was Hitler. It was Hitler who did it. It was Hitler.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We just had a free-toed sloth join us, by the way.
Free-toed sloth.
Oh.
Hi, Zane. Hitler. It was Hitler. It's Hitler's
It's always
fault.
Hitler. Everything is Hitler.
Fucking Hitler. Actually, that brings me to an interesting point that I kind of did want to talk about on a not really more serious note, but an interesting note, and that's the idea of argument by dehumanization. I think SJWs do it to other people a lot, and even sometimes we do it back to those kind of people. Dehumanization is a popular technique in which we basically say it's okay to abuse or bully someone if they're not human, and by it we take someone and we turn their entire life. What is it? Like for instance, a rapist to us is an inhuman person. We try to dehumanize them. We call people sociopaths and psychopaths, saying that they have no empathy, so we shouldn't have any empathy towards them. What do you guys think about that kind of thought?
Well, I think this tactic was used all throughout history by every ideologist and every tyrant and everyone who wanted to manipulate people, basically appealing to the worst instincts of humans, tribalism. Us versus them. We are the... I have somewhere a very beautiful picture that sums it up perfectly. Let me try to find it.
The classic one is the American military, like in Vietnam. They weren't North Vietnamese, they were Gooks. Was it Gooks and Charlie? Or?
Yeah, you give them a different... Well, yeah, Charlie was like the word for the enemy, and then Gooks was like the derogatory term for a Vietnamese person.
Or during World War II, is Jerry or the Hun for all Germans.
Krauts too, right?
Krauts, yes, I knew there's another one.
We call them Krauts a lot. Yeah, you give them a name that makes them not sound like people anymore, and it's okay to kill them all of a sudden, or it's okay, And now, I mean, we still have that in warfare, but now you do it. What was it? There was very interesting. I think it was one time, maybe it was in the SJW group, maybe it was somewhere else. Somebody posted a TED talk from a guy who discussed how basically Sam Biddle and a bunch of other people. This one woman, she had made like an AIDS joke, and they had all taken the time to dehumanize her, and they got her fired from her job within within her flight from one location to another. She had sent a tweet, got on a plane, and when her plane landed, she had been fired. Like a bunch of other bullshit had happened within that small span of time. Because Sam Biddle and a bunch of other people just like bombarded her and dehumanized her. It was just a Twitter account. Is what they were doing. They were attacking a Twitter account. They weren't attacking a person. And so all of a sudden it became okay to do.
Everyone does it. Everyone, if you want to allow, for example, some people to be treated unfairly, you just persuade others that those people don't deserve to be treated fairly. So, and this is the image I found it. This is how it's usually done. Tribalism in its worst. Our blessed homeworld, their barbarous waste.
I do not see an image currently. Just so you know.
I'm screen sharing.
It doesn't. It's not popping up for me at least. I don't know is it coming up for anybody else?
So, can anyone else see the image?
Just black screen.
Just a black screen.
Let me try to open it in another.
If it doesn't work, you can send it to me, and then I can see if I can screen share.
Okay, let me. How do I send it?
What does Biddle actually do? Sam Biddle.
Well, technically, I think he's a reporter or something. I don't know.
Editor. I think he's editor.
Probably.
And that's Jerome's macro.
He spends a lot of his time online assaulting other people. So. But yeah, and what is it in the polyamory group? Since that's been such a big topic this week, I'm trying to kind of like implement it every now and then in the topic. And then in other groups as well, like SJWs, their favorite thing to do is to just dehumanize people by calling them trolls, right? When you state your opinion, oh, you're just trolling. You're trolling this group, Let's see if I get an image here. Oh, yes, I remember this picture. This is a good picture. Let me share my screen with this. Present to everyone. Can you guys all see that?
Yeah.
There we go. That's a good picture, Glebs. Yeah.
This is how tribalism works.
Yeah, essentially. I mean,
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that. It's a pretty good description of what's happening. And I don't remember if I added that in my video about SJWs or not, but dehumanization is definitely a popular tactic of theirs. We all of the words that racist and sexist and misogynist, those words are not designed to be good words. They're designed to dehumanize you and make you appear to be some sort of asshole and somebody that people don't like, somebody people don't want to associate with and not talk with. So there's that whole fact.
They're not meant to. They're just meant to be descriptors.
What?
They're not. Oh my god! Fuck.
Sai, you can do it. I believe in you. Try it. Okay, one more time. I can hear. We'll hear you. Do it. Go for it. Go for it, Sai.
No, is that my dog's barking the exact moment, and I'm sick, so I can barely talk. But anyways, they're not like meant to do that. They're just meant to be descriptors. It's just that they're always misused because people are idiots.
Yeah, exactly. Those words were. I'm sure the word racist. Obviously you don't want to be a racist. Well, now you don't. Back then, if back a long time ago, if somebody called you a racist, it just meant that you were someone who discriminated based off of race, and you thought your race was superior. And I'm in no way defending people who are today racist, but but that the words have morphed into something where it's basically if you're called that word, everything about you is now invalid. If you are a racist, well, everything about anything you say is invalid.
Well, also you have to think that the more we use it, because I mean, being a racist is a horrible thing.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is, people are using it so often that it's lost any of its meaning. Like same with sexist or misogynist or fucking whatever. It's totally lost its meaning. So whenever you get called it, it's like being called a duty head. That's essentially what it is. I mean, it's the feminist version of pretty much just calling you a name and hoping it hurts your feelings. I don't get it.
Actually there's a term for this. It's called thought terminating cliché. I've pasted the description from Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a way to dismiss someone's opinion by assigning this label and basically this quote from a book where it was introduced. Language of the totalist environment is characterized by the thought terminating cliché. The most far-reaching and complex of human problems are compressed into brief, highly reductive, definitive-sounding phrases easily memorized and easily expressed. These become the start and finish of any ideological analysis. So just they have those very simple and basically just without thinking they have already those prepackaged answers. Kind of like all ideologies and religions have them. If men come from monkeys, how come there are still monkeys? Checkmate atheists. Something like that. Oh, you are feminism because you are a misogynist, oppressive, rapist, something. Oh.
So what's that one? Would like a Kafka trap then be a thought terminating cliche? The idea that these comments these sexist comments are a reason we need feminism.
Oh, like, more like
your arguments against feminism are the reason we need feminism, right?
Yeah, it's circular reasoning. Kafka trap is more like when if you deny that you are this proves that you are this, or the very fact that people deny the existence of rape culture proves that rape culture exists. It's unfalsifiable, basically, unfalsifiable hypothesis, totally unscientific.
Well, you can't prove it. You can't disprove a negative, essentially.
That's the problem.
That's what they rely on.
Well, that's where your whole fatheist thing comes from, right, Glebs? That they basically use the exact same tactics that a religious person would use.
Exactly.
No, well, you can't prove that God doesn't exist. It's like, well, you can't prove the patriarchy isn't in control of everything.
And one great example, a guy who actually is an atheist, and I was talking to him on Facebook, and he said that prove that rape culture doesn't exist. Provide me with a peer-reviewed study that shows that rape culture doesn't exist.
Yeah. And he didn't understand. He didn't see the hypocrisy.
couldn't, and everyone was. There were several people in this conversation in the comment section, and a lot of them pointed to Hitchens' razor and the fact that he couldn't provide peer-reviewed evidence that it does exist. Well, when we pressed him, first he showed a link to some a collection of essays about rape prevention, which proves, well, doesn't even touch the fact that there is or isn't rape culture. Because, well, we all know that rapes happen. It's not what was contested. I didn't say that rapes never happen because that's stupid. Oh, yeah. And the second link he provided is a link to Google Scholar search results for rape culture. I had to tell him that a search result page isn't peer-reviewed. He wasn't.
He just linked a search result page.
Yeah, look it up. Educate yourself.
Isn't wouldn't that be some sort of thought terminating cliche? Like when somebody just sends you, like, says, "Why don't you go look it up on your own?" Like, I am not responsible for educating you. That's a big one. I'm not responsible for educating you. That's what they law. I've heard people say that all the time.
Yeah, it's magic. I ain't gonna explain shit.
It's fucking magnets. How do they work?
Oh my god.
Fucking jugglers. It's just the same. Like they say that. Well, it's. I'm supposed to not only search for evidence to support my claims, but to search for evidence to support my opponent's claims. What the fuck? Like, how lazy are they? Well, I know why he didn't provide, because he didn't have any, and he was. I sent a link to a video that explains what's the null hypothesis and the burden of proof. This is YouTube leak. It's not peer-reviewed. It's like. This is scientism. Well, he knows the word peer-reviewed, and he thinks it's just holy grail. First of all, peer-reviewed doesn't mean a lot if the peers who are reviewing are idiots. For example, there was a study that showed that about half of peer-reviewed, a lot of peer-reviewed psychological studies actually couldn't be replicated. So half of peer-reviewed publications in psychology actually turn out to be bullshit. So peer review isn't.
Glebs, is that study you're citing peer-reviewed?
Yes.
Is the peer-reviewed study on peer-reviewing peer-reviewed? That's a good.
This is what some people don't get. Peer review is an indicator, but it's not a holy grail. The best way to prove something is to replicate it. For example, this. It doesn't care. I don't care if something is peer-reviewed if it's not consistent with reality. For example, the physics experiments are peer-reviewed. Well, because other physicists replicate them and see if they can get this result. And if, for example, some team of physicists come up with something that seemingly breaks the known laws of physics, and they are so certain, everyone who can replicate it will try to do so, because this.
Have you, Glebs, have you ever read the book Brief History of Nearly Everything?
By Stephen Hawking and Mlodinov, yeah?
No, it's Bill. I have it on Bill Bryson. He's he's a scientific historian for the most part, and it's a very interesting book because a lot of that book, what it discusses, is a lot to do with peer reviewing, and it a lot of it discusses like the kind of cutthroat nature of how one scientist is going to try to discover something before the other. And it was that level of competition that another scientist would do something, and if they couldn't replicate the experiment, it was like, well, there we go. We can't prove this exists, so your paper is kind of null. It's like, I'm sorry, it doesn't. I couldn't replicate the same factor. And then another scientist would come along and said, but I replicated yours. And then all of a sudden, people would start focusing on that until somebody would find something that didn't, replicate on a similar scale. And it's a really interesting book because it goes through like all of scientific discovery from like the 15th century kind of periods of time, and they talk about finding fossils, they talk about astrological studies, they talk about studies in chemistry, so some stuff with Mary Curie and her husband. Like it's a really fascinating book. I know, and I figure if you're into all that kind of scientific stuff, it's a book I would recommend.
Interesting.
Yeah.
speaking of peer review, probably everyone has heard about this book called Fashionable Nonsense by Alan Sokal. And what Alan Sokal was famous for, he's a physicist, but what he was also famous for his so-called hoax. Basically, he wrote a postmodernist article that was peppered with inappropriately used scientific terminology and just plain bullshit. And it, if you translate it into plain English, it said some really fucked up shit, like, gravity is a social and yes, gravity is a social construct, like patriarchal, and it exists because we think it exists, and the nature of science is patriarchal and oppressive, and we should reform it in accordance with feminist theory. And he managed to publish this bullshit in a peer-reviewed publication about postmodernist some stuff.
Well,
And,
I mean, that was pretty much.
I saw that. Yeah.
Mine scenario, because he was. I think he didn't he come on and say, there are people in academia that actually believe that shit.
Yes.
In my scientific field, I'm warning you, get these fuckers out of this field, or else you'll be dealing with idiot children in the future. I mean, that's essentially what his goal was, right? I mean, I've heard of him before. I'm just kind of trying to clarify.
He also published this book, he and another guy, I can't remember his name, called Fashionable Nonsense, where they take examples of those postmodernist thinkers and academics and basically take their work and translate the terminology, this jargon, into plain English and show how this makes no sense at all. Because they culturally appropriate terminology from other fields of science, like physics, mathematics, and stuff like that. And sometimes they just come up with ridiculous bullshit, like some psychoanalysts who claim that penis is this square root of -1. So it's imaginary. I know if his dick is imaginary, mine is quite real, actually. So now, what he meant by that, and try to apply complex number theory to psychology, which makes a lot of sense. Just a lot of sense, and stuff like that. And also those, and of course we have those feminist study about rape manual. Newton's
Principia is a fucking rape manual.
Yeah, Newton's Principia Mathematica is a rape manual. Also that Einstein's relativity privileges the speed of light over other stuff and other bullshit like that.
But the thing that floors me is that these ideas take hold. Like, you can't just laugh them off at face value. Because, I mean, face value sounds stupid.
Yeah. There's somebody out there who believes some of this bullshit sometimes, and it's ridiculous. And I think one of the big problems is there's still is that there's a growing gap in what people understand to be like scientific research versus sociological research. The definition of a theory for science versus the definition of a theory in like a sociology sort of study are very different things. Right?
Yeah.
Scientific theory is backed up by extreme amounts of evidence.
Which is why I say that the social science should stop. They should drop the social. They should drop the science part in their name. Because fuck off, you're not a science. You're a study. You're social studies. Damn it! Don't call it a scientific. Don't call it science.
Let me show something. I have this. Screenshot from an article about feminist epistemology, and it shows how scientific those social sciences are. Let me just upload it. And
hey, I gotta head out of here, guys. I'll talk to you
all right.
later.
See you around, Casey.
All right, see you.
See you. Bye. Here it is. It's from an article about feminist epistemology, and it shows what methods they propose to use. I like this video about a guy who actually is a scientist, a psychologist, and he's here says that half of psychology is bullshit, and sociology, like 80% of it is bullshit. And he is a scientist who is working in the field of psychology, so he knows his stuff.
Against this pluralistic view, some advocates of feminist science define it in terms of adherence to specific ontologies and methodologies expressing a feminine cognitive style.
But genders are socially constructed, but feminine cognitive style is different from masculine cognitive style.
Well, that's another funny thing, is like, you know, whenever they decide that something's a socially constructed, so they're like, I'm not going to suffer from socially constructed labels, so I'm going to make my own label, because labeling myself is completely different from being labeled by other people. It's still a label. I don't get why people, it's like, if you don't want to be labeled, why would you ever, you know, it's like people ask, you know, like, it's like, oh, I'm agender. It's like, what, you know, that's, you're labeling yourself. Why don't you just say, yeah, you know, it's like, well, are you a boy or a girl? It's like, I got a penis. It's like, well, are you a boy? I have a vagina. There you go. If you want to break social norms, that's how you do it. You don't give yourself a label. You just say, I got a dick or a vag. That's what you say. Or if you're a eunuch, you know, I'm sorry. Let's go on, though. On this conception, for example, the content of any feminist theory should have a relational rather than atomistic ontology, favor the concrete over the abstract, avoid generalizations about women in favor of exposing the richness and particularity of different women's lives and perspectives, and so forth. Its methods should encompass intuition, emotional engagement, and other cognitive styles associated with a feminine sensibility. Oh yeah, those are things.
Yeah, science.
Yeah. This view has had perhaps its greatest impact in feminist works, attacking quantitative methods in the social scientists. For example, Stanley and Wise argue that only quantitative methods that accept women's reports of their experiences in their own terms, refusing to generalize, can uphold feminist values, are respecting differences among women, and avoiding the replication of power differences. Feminist science, intuition, and emotions. That's fucking hilarious. Hold on, this part. Only qualitative methods that accept women's reports of their experiences in their own terms can uphold feminist values of respecting differences among women. So basically, individual. No, but like, well, but that's the thing. It's like, don't they always? Isn't all feminists do is generalize? Isn't there, like, yes, all women experience this. And yet here it says that, you know, in order to uphold feminist values, you need to accept reports and experiences of their own terms. So if a woman were to report to you, no, I've never been sexually harassed on the street. No, I've never experienced that sort of thing. So what, do you just accept? Aren't you supposed to accept that then, according to this right here? Shouldn't they accept that? Isn't that something that should be accepted? Or is that just internalized misogyny? Oh, what happened to Glebbies? Sai, what do you think?
I'm sorry. I couldn't hear.
Oh, okay.
No, what did you say? Can you repeat it a little bit?
Oh, I was saying, okay, so this last portion, the last portion of this thing that I shared said that only qualitative methods that accept women's reports of their experiences in their own terms, refusing to generalize, can uphold feminist values of respecting differences among women and avoiding the replication of power differences between researchers and research subjects. So, by their own standards, according to this passage, if a woman were to report to them, no, I have not been sexually harassed, no, my life is fine, should they not accept that on its own terms?
Well, they'll probably twist the facts then, as they usually do, don't they?
Internalized misogyny.
No, I mean, I can say that, yes, I've been catcalled, but then they'll probably interpret it as sexual harassment instead of just, like, some dude yelling at me across the street, you know?
Because isn't that what they use for a lot of rape statistics? They don't just ask, have you been raped? They ask a bunch of different questions, attempting to imply if rape happened at some point.
This is how this 1 in 5 was...
Right, he was obtained. He was obtained through very, very obscure questions. And by their own standards, the way they did that wouldn't be a way to. But oh no, I guess if they're using intuition and emotions, then that's how they interpreted the data with their intuition. My intuition tells me that woman was raped.
No,
I
Dominic, you
looked
must
at her.
listen. Listen
I'm
and
sorry.
believe.
I'm sorry.
Listen
I need
and
to listen
believe.
listen and believe. Glebs, I must listen and believe you. Tell me what happened to you when you were a little boy.
Oh,
Did
I
your uncle
was
touch you?
Facebook raped and YouTube raped by comments from Randy St. Louis. Listen and believe.
Jenny
And also-
McDermott raped me.
Oh yeah.
You heard it here
Jenny
first.
McDermott raped me with her sexual fantasies, including Thunderfoot and Armored Skeptic.
Oh yeah.
Just, by the way, we haven't covered this story. Well, it's not
That was
much of a
interesting.
story.
Didn't like she claimed, because Armored Skeptic is like in it with Shoe on Head, and like she claimed that Armored Skeptic was had sexually harassed her by messaging her or something.
Yeah, well, he wanted to seduce her or something. Well, I don't know. Has she seen her in the mirror or something? Because I don't know. He seems like a guy who has a normal functioning eyesight, and I don't know if he takes drugs or not. But I don't think there are drugs that are powerful enough to make her desirable. Besides, it's just she quoted several messages, and those messages were just normal banter. Some of my messages to, yeah, so innocent. We all have those chat logs about.
Glebs, we all know you're not very innocent. We all know you're not innocent. We know you and your werewolf habits. All known about.
Doggy
But
style.
speaking of chat logs, I guess Sarah Nyberg got really hit with it, huh?
Oh.
Yes, love that photo of him. Sorry.
Him? Oh yeah, with the chest hair.
He's got more chest hair than me, but he feels sort of womanly. Okay.
Yes. God. Yeah. Oh God. If you Google Sarah Nyberg, that's the first picture to come up. Why would you want to see that? Whose hair grows like that though? Too. It's like she's wearing a vest. Like what?
Maybe she's a werewolf too.
That's a chick.
That's Sarah Butts from, I don't know if you've ever been on like all the Twitter, between the Twitter wars between people. The one person, SRH Butts is what they go by, and
She's also
they
on
often,
YouTube making stupid comments.
Really? I didn't know that.
Well, she used to. For someone unemployed who has a lot of time and not a lot of brains, well, makes sense. She used to comment on almost every video about feminism and social justice warriors.
Is there a photo of her in her final form?
Final form where?
Sorry, ultimate form. So I'm playing on an internet meme there.
It's not even my final form.
Oh, Milo is no longer going to be Super Saiyan. Apparently, he's letting his hair turn black again. Not keeping the blonde.
Who is Milo?
Milo Yiannopoulos. He's the coolest. He's the guy I'd go gay for, but he's only in the black man. So.
He works for Breitbart, and he's a reporter, and he was the one who basically dropped the bomb on this game journal pro list. He exposed this collusion among game journalists. He also, well, he likes to stir shit a lot, and he exposed a lot of social justice warriors for the things they do and their hypocrisy, and he's quite hated by the social justice community.
Oh yeah. He's him like, what was it? And recently there, I don't know if you heard about that chat that got shut down by a bomb threat about about ethics in journalism, and he was at that chat with Christine Hoff Sommers and a couple other people, and the chat and the event got shut down by bomb threats, so, which was like the second Gamergate related event to have been shut down by bomb threats.
And tonight.
Oh, that's right. Who was that? Was that Chu?
Should be Chu. Apparently he hates being called Chubby Chew, so that's his new name. Never to be called anything but Chubby Chew.
And name's not important.
Literally Chew. Literally.
There's something I wouldn't mind briefly mentioning, something very, very topical, because it just happened today.
Go for it.
I don't know how many here are that into British politics, but the new leader of the opposition party was elected today. His name's Jeremy Corbyn, and he's basically our own Bernie Sanders.
Really?
So this centrist Labour Party is now being led by someone who's very, very left-wing. I mean,
Bernie isn't that bad.
I actually share a lot of this guy's views, but with some definite exceptions. He wants he's pro-railway carriage segregation by gender. So he wants to introduce
gender?
Yeah, he wants to introduce women-only carriages, because all men are rapists, obviously.
What? Did you see the thing Harry posted about the Labour Party saying, like, if the Labour Party was really progressive, they would have chosen a woman?
Regardless of the political
policy, right? Regardless of policy, is what I believe the article said. It was.
This
let me
is
see
the dumbest thing I've heard in a while.
Regardless of policy.
Regardless of policy, yeah. Whatever they're like, female, she's a winner.
Yeah, because
it's one of the things I'm not into about Jeremy Corbyn is that right, we have cabinets sort of in government and the opposition, the shadow cabinet, and he's going to be appointing a 50-50 split between men and women.
Oh,
so no meritocracy there.
Oh, okay. So
I mean, if it's like 60% women or 70% women or 60-70% men, then you know that there's competition and that there are the best person is going for the job. But if you're going to insist on 50-50, then meritocracy goes out the window. You're just doing it purely by gender, which is bollocks.
Anybody's comment on Radio 5 Live about having a woman the leader of the... Let me make sure the link is being presented to everybody. There we go. This is just the title of this article. If it's truly progressive, Labour will have voted in a female leader regardless of her policies.
Maybe if her policies were taken from Mein Kampf, would it be okay as well?
Do people not know what the job of an elected official is? Like, it's not just to stand there and represent some giant embodiment of everybody's ideal opinion. You're supposed to be doing things for the people you represent. That's why it's a representative. Like, you know, with that woman who you know, some Republicans are like hailing as, oh, freedom of religion, because she wouldn't put her name on gay bills. It's like, you were fucking elected to a position. Do your goddamn job. That's what you're supposed to do. I don't care what your personal opinions are. You were elected there. You do your job, and that's it. And then if you can't do your job, quit. And the same thing's with this. If regardless of her policies. Oh, let's see. There are still very few role models for women in British politics. Nicola Sturgeon admitted that she had to look abroad to Hillary Clinton. You're looking in the wrong place, Nicola. And Angela Merkel for hers.
Sorry, it's Nicola.
Nicola? Whatever.
Yeah. No, whatever. She's Scottish. Her name's Nicola.
Nicola? What a stupid name. Oh, so if it was Italian, it'd be Nicola. Nicola.
Okay, so what's Merkel? What's her first name?
Oh, if I were to say it Italian or like or in English, like an American.
She's German. So what do you think her name is?
Angela
Merkel.
Oh, you let it out. Oh, bloody old glebs.
Angela.
I was waiting for the American to get it completely wrong.
Angela? Is that what you're waiting for? You're waiting for Angela?
Yeah.
Angela Merkel. In my party, I have to look to Lynn Featherstone. Did I say that one right?
Probably, yeah. Yeah.
Joe Swinson. Or is it Jaw Swinson?
No, Joe.
By standing for leadership positions in their party, Yvette Cooper, I got that one right, Liz Kendall, and Stella Creasy, I don't know if it's Creasy, why not? or crazy, fucking I don't care. Crazy, probably it's crazy. Have helped raise the expectations of young women across the political spectrum. But with the usual sexism abounding in the media, oh yeah, that fucking sexist ass media, just reporting shit and gross. Especially concerning Liz Kendall's lack of children. Yeah, that's super sexist. Or Yvette Cooper's relationship with her husband. It seems that sadly the debate. You know they care about every politician's relationship with their family. Like people report on Obama's relationship with his family all the fucking time. That's just something like if you have a politician being like a family man or family woman is extremely important. That's just something that people know. That's why we're probably never going to see a president with no we're never going to. I highly doubt in America anytime soon we'll be ready for an atheist president who's not married and doesn't have children. I doubt it. I doubt we'll ever see anything like that anytime soon. Because
do you like the closing sentence on that paragraph though? When my nieces are old enough to vote, I want them to see politics as women's business. This is in a country that in the 1970s had a female leader for over 10 years. Yeah, it's really new to us. We've never done it before.
No, well, here's the thing. She wants him to see it as a woman's business. She wants all the men out of politics. So this is Jeremy Corbyn. This is the guy who got chosen.
Yeah.
Jeremy Corbyn started off as a rank outsider in the race to replace Ed Miliband and admitted he was only standing to ensure the left of the party was given a voice. But is that Islington or is it Islington? Islington? Okay. North MP, who first entered Parliament in 1983, is now the firm favorite to be elected Labour leader on September 12th after a surge in left-wing supporters signing up for a vote. Interesting.
And he did it.
Liz? What do you think of these other people? Yvette Cooper, Liz Kendall? Do you know anything about these people?
The reason why he won is the other three are just career politicians, vanilla flavour, so bland. It's just you couldn't pick them out in a crowd. They're just so.
So he is like Bernie Sanders, like you said. He's the same sort of thing.
Yeah. He's he's consistent. He's always had these views, and he's been like a backbencher, or not involved in the front wing at all.
Mm.
I think he might hold the record for opposing his own party's propositions in Parliament. He's complained the most about Labour policies, which is quite funny because now he's the leader. So, but anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. British politics that happened today because it was quite interesting.
I'm going to try this word. See, I don't know if you pronounce that. I'm going to assume that you don't. Is it Leicestershire?
Leicestershire.
Leicestershire?
Yeah.
What happened to those middle fucking letters? What happened to like half of the fucking word? Did it just disappear while I was saying it? Jesus.
English language isn't phonetic, so.
Oh, like I should have guessed that because Worcestershire. It's right. It's like that, right?
Maybe it's French influence because French have a lot of letters that aren't pronounced.
See, that's why I like Italian because Italian's totally phonetic. It's just say it how it sounds. Super easy.
Just like Italian people, then, yeah.
Oh.
Spanish is the best language ever. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I don't know. Sorry. What's your word for bicycle? Bicicletta, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's the Italian word for bicycle? Bicicletta. That's right. Sounds way cooler. Just pronounce it. Bicicletta.
Cagata puta.
We have puta too. But for us, it's at the T de la puta.
I mean, I could continue cursing you out in Spanish, but
Cursing people out in Spanish just sounds like you're trying to seduce me. Is what it is. It's like, oh, baby, please. Getting a little spicy up in here.
you're disgusting.
I ordered the mild. All right. I'm white.
Sorry, is
No
Zane
shit.
spoken yet?
Is that a what?
Sorry, I was asking if Zane has spoken yet, so I've just seen that muted microphone
Zane,
for ages.
say words. Do it, Zane. Do it for the country. No.
He's wearing earphones so she can hear us. It's just not talking.
She can hear us, yeah. She's shaking her head. I see you there. Doing this whole thing. Size playing Mexican music.
Ah, I'm back. No, it was pause, and that's why I
So, got any other subjects to move on to?
Well, the one other thing I wanted to ask: have you guys seen the Sargon's video on Lori Penny?
Oh yes, oh yes. I hate that woman so much.
Her voice, she sounds like a 12-year-old.
With our paths have crossed in the past on Twitter, so
really.
And yeah, the funny thing is, each time, 2 occasions I've had sort of major exchange of words on Twitter, and both times Billy Bragg has come in to white knight for her.
Billy Bragg?
Yeah. Do you know who he is?
No, I don't know who Billy Bragg is.
Young whippersnappers. He was big in the 80s. He did political songs. He's very left-wing.
Billy Bragg. Stephen William Billy Bragg is an English singer-songwriter and left-wing activist. Yeah. So it's non-Irish Bono? Is that?
Oh no. But yeah, no. Twice he white knighted for Laurie Penny, just accusing me of criticising her because of her gender. No, nothing. Stop hiding behind your fucking gender. I'm criticising you fucking idiot. But you said, oh, you're telling me because I'm a woman. No, this fucking shield thing that comes up. It's like, oh, you can't possibly be criticising me because of my ideas. It must be because I have a vagina. No.
Well, the video was really telling too, because it was supposed to be like a topic about a conversation about men, and she spent a majority of the time talking about women.
All of the time, surely, yeah.
And the brief time she mentioned men in relation to how they can help women. Because we all know that men need to help women because women need help, and they haven't been helped throughout society, and we haven't been doing things for them, but they're also strong and independent. You know, don't forget that. They're both of those things at the same time.
She's just a classic third-wave feminist. She really is. I mean, she comes from wealthy parents. She's a millennial. She thinks that her opinion matters in the world for some reason, that everyone should stop and listen to her. I think, well, no, your opinions are shite. Not because of your gender, they're just shite.
That was so funny. Every time Sargon would bring that up, it's like, look at you. You white upper middle class woman standing up there on the pedestal talking about privilege. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, it's funny.
That was
privilege. It's just incredible.
I thought that was an excellent video. And then the other thing that I watched this week was Thunderfoot on, I think it was the Magic Sandwich Show or something, and they had Aaron Raw and Aaron Raw's wife on.
Oh, that one. I saw a very short clip, just that.
What's the deal with Aaron Raw? What's the deal with him? Why is he such a mangina?
He's cocked. His wife was feminist.
He's a friend of P.Z. Myers. He's a well-known atheist, but he went the feminist route rather sharply.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
As Gleb said, I think his wife's a feminist, so it's a case of, you can't play hide the sausage unless you agree with my political views, so start, being a feminazi for me. Yes, dear.
And by the way, not only is she a feminist, she's one of those really bad kind of feminists. She's on the Free Thought blog still, and when this whole Elliot Rodger thing happened, she jumped on the bandwagon when everyone was blaming like white, straight male, and then it turned out he wasn't exactly white, he was half Asian. And she jumped on the bandwagon, well, he was kind of half Asian, but this still white men are at fault because something white privilege, something he hated himself for not being pure white. Who cares? It's like, I was saying that...
If you look white, it makes you white.
Yeah.
At least.
Actually, it's called white passing privilege. So if you aren't white, but you look white enough to be confused with one, you have this privilege.
Well, we talked about that a bit last week with the idea of it's not really cultural appropriation with SJWs. They think it's skin color appropriation. Like, you would never get mad at a black person for wearing some sort of more black culturally appropriate thing. But they don't all share the same fucking culture. They're not from the same exact damn place in Africa. And all those cultures are different. So you don't care about cultural appropriation. You care if somebody with a skin color does something. You wouldn't get mad at a Korean wearing a kimono, but that's cultural appropriation. You get mad at a white person wearing a kimono, though. So it's a skin color thing. It's not even cultural. That's the ridiculous part.
They're trying
That's
so
not-
hard to not be racist, they become racist.
Oh yeah, super racist.
And I think this whole thing they so cater to those white people who cater to the ethnic minorities. Maybe that's because they are racist and think that those other people can't think for themselves and need catering to and need special treatment because they are incapable. If that's not colonialism and racism, I don't know what is. It's like white man's burden. It's like, oh, I'm this Prometheus who will bring the spark of gods to them, and I will sacrifice myself to help them because they are so helpless and stupid to do it themselves. Yeah, will be this white savior. That's what they're doing.
But yeah, back to that Thunderfoot video. What was it? There was I noticed it was I don't know much about the guy who runs it, the Magic Sandwich Show guy. If he goes by, I think he goes by Magic Sandwich. I don't know much about the guy who runs those that little chat that they have. But what I found was interesting is, well, one, I think 2 or 3 of the people were from, what is it, like that Skepchick thing? Is it like a blog or something? Skepchick blog or whatever?
Rebecca Watson's band of skeptics.
Yeah, when you said Magic Sandwich, I'm sure in the past I've heard that linked to Rebecca Watson. So yeah.
Skepchick, yeah, and it was funny because the initial topic was about abortion, but it seemed like it was like they're almost like they were kind of trying to have a debate, but basically everybody had the exact same point of view, besides one person, and that was Thunder. Everybody else, it was like a dog pile effect. They had all of these people who had this exact same point of view, and one person without the same point of view.
That's probably why they invited him on, just purely to turn around and
like
attack
try to slam him. Yeah, it was weird, but and the entire argument was very. I thought it was a pretty interesting argument because the one person thought like she was so extreme that she believed that basically you could kill the child up to 5 minutes before it's born. That's that kind of thing. Like, right, like you're about to give birth, you're about to go into labor, and you can terminate the pregnancy. And then even to some respects of infanticide, she was okay with.
Oh, great.
Which was really, really odd, and so then so like Thunderfoot was kind of putting some perspectives on like at what point is it murder kind of situations on it. And what's interesting is that a lot of people, when you hear arguments pro or against abortion, abortion in itself is not a social justice warrior-esque thing. A lot of people agree with abortion. I'm okay with abortion. I'm fine with it. But when it starts to reach that point when you assume that any single point against abortion is because they're women, because you're trying to limit the activity of women. Like they somehow assume, like for instance, I don't think that big old white religious men in Congress are anti-abortion because they hate women. I think they're anti-abortion because they're crazy religious nutjobs. Completely
Or
different.
pandering to them,
Yeah.
probably. I think that
I don't.
at least half
And
of
some
them
of them
don't
may
actually.
hate women.
Some of them may hate women, but not all of them. I don't think all of them are a bunch of sex. I don't think the only reason people are against abortion is because they hate women and they don't want women to have any decisions in their life. That seems ridiculous.
Besides the pro-life movement, I saw the statistics. It's about half men and women. Women are about like 55% of this movement. So either they have this severe case of internalized social needs, or maybe it's not women hating, but more with religious stuff. And it's like, but they have this short-term cliche. They are against abortion, therefore they hate women. Oh, great. Citation needed. I need to cut up this clip of TLD saying this. Citation needed.
I like whatever he said. There's a couple things that I love what he says. He says that whenever he says, what's the other thing he always says?
Of course you don't.
Of course you don't. Just his voice when he says, I want to see what that guy looks like, because I imagine he looks like some sort of snarky British asshole, too.
By the way, I think
In a
he's
good way.
part of academia because he has access to this for ordinary people, articles from some peer-reviewed studies are like behind the paywall, but those who are part of academia, they have access to it, and he knows his stuff when it comes to medicine. So I think he's either like a researcher or maybe teaching like medicine or biology in a university, because he knows his stuff.
Well, and you know what, and there's a lot of those guys who are kind of very very academical. Justicar's like a mathematician, right? Well, he was a cop, and now he's like a mathematician.
And by the way, speaking of Justica, I just remembered. You know this guy on YouTube, Concordance, as I call him, either Concordance or Concordance, because
because you like him a lot, don't you?
He's a scientist of all people, and but he has so unscientific views on. For example, he believes in this 1 in 5 rape statistics because it was a peer-reviewed study of phone survey, very scientific. But
in the YouTube community, basically, if you're fairly good looking, then you don't hide your face. You actually appear before your webcam.
Hey, I appear on my webcam. I'm not fairly good looking.
The point I was trying to make is that Concordant has one of those faces which desperately needs some sort of cover image rather than his face on it. He is just. No, he shouldn't. He shouldn't show his face.
He has shown himself on, or is he on some shows like podcasts? Because in his videos I haven't seen him.
Are you sure? I might get mixed up with someone else. I'm sure it was Concordance.
I don't think he has ever shown his face on camera. But he's one of those. Well, he has this calm voice and like I'm so rational and so like fair and balanced. But when he went on this tirade about Dusty being a promoter of drugs, I left a comment. Unless you drink decaf coffee and never drink alcohol, you have no moral high ground on this issue. And he never even responded. But it's like
it looks like a lot of his videos are on smoking.
Yeah, it's like and he's also this. He tries to look rational, but he's very even anti-marijuana because. Of course, smoking anything isn't that great. Inhaling hot smoke with particles, that's not great for health. But come on, coffee isn't that great for health either. It erodes your stomach and does other nasty things. But it's like, oh, you drink coffee. Oh, how dare you? You promote drinking coffee. You drug apologist. And his video on Dusty was so bad. It's like he was talking about DMT, but showed the metabolism of psilocin from magic mushrooms. Well, it's related to DMT, but it's not DMT. And he should know organic chemistry. He's like a virologist. Not maybe doesn't know much now. Like doesn't remember much. But damn, he's a scientist. And Justica whipped his ass. Well, came to this study about 1 in 5. And he still doesn't want to admit defeat, even though he, ironically, when it comes to this rape culture, Justica taught him a new one. Ironically, yeah. He doesn't want to admit it. He was not only wrong, but fractally wrong. It's like he was the spirit science level wrong, and he still thinks he's like a rational person. Concordance, yeah. Because he's a cock.
Okay, I've just managed to find what he looks like, and I'm thinking of someone completely different.
Are you thinking of a different person? They're all cucks are the same in essence. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of content out there of like there's so many YouTubers out there. And it's interesting to see how those sorts of things develop and how these people have been parts of these blogs and all of these environments. And that's why I love what is it? One time we had Charming Man on, which was cool. Thanks for that, Glebs. By the way, you got him on. We've had Feminism on. we've had a couple other people on, and you know, I love talking to those people because they've had way more experience in this kind of realm than I have. I'm just a fat white dude, you know, fat white teenager sitting at home googling all this shit. So
Yeah, don't thank me for getting end feminism on.
oh, okay, God, Craig.
I'm kidding. I'm still trying to find a picture of this guy that I thought was Concordance, but wasn't. I can't remember for the life of me his name.
You know what? I'm not going to thank you until you can get Carl on. So.
Carl?
Would you think he'd hang out in our hangout?
I don't think he loves us. And I don't think we're cool enough, probably. But
oh, he's big school and we're little minnows, really, aren't we?
If we buy him a couple cases of his favorite beer, maybe.
What are you talking about?
Getting Sargon on here.
Oh, that would be kind of hard.
By the way, that reminded me. Did you see that picture I shared of the guy asking a question to what video? It was one of the videos he had published. It was a guy asking a question to somebody on one of his more recent videos, and the guy looked just like him, which is weird. I think it might have been the Lauren Penny thing. Maybe. I don't remember if it was or not. But the guy, oh God, kind of off-topic question. Has anybody noticed their ad block's not working anymore?
Well, it works intermittently.
What? Yeah, it's not working right now on YouTube for me.
For me, it works.
Really?
Well, on this computer, yeah, I have the latest beta build of. I think it works because I have this installed AdBlock Plus from this repository of latest builds, like beta things. Or it probably is newer than the stable build. I know it's usually when it breaks, you can go to their forum and find experimental builds of it, which would work.
To do that, I'm waiting for this fucking ad to go by so I can find it. But there was a guy, like, it was in one of his videos. It was like right near the beginning of the video, and the guy looked just like him. And I thought it was really funny because I was like, did you ask one of the questions to these feminists here? It was wait, shit. Oh God, I remember this video. I just saw a link on the side of my.
I just remembered the name. Glebs, Puka.
Oh, there's Philip Rose. Yeah, he used to be like more rational, but then went downhill. He still thinks he's rational and has some rational thought from time to time, but and also the more he went into this social justice mode, the more like a zombie he started to look. Those dead eyes and this wax face and this lifeless stare.
Yeah, he's the one who was on about who shouldn't show their face when they do videos.
Yeah. But in his earlier videos, he looks more human than now. What happened? Is this like, did feminism devour his soul, or made him a zombie? Or maybe it's like homunculus made in his image that replaced him.
I love the fact that English isn't your first language, but some of the words that you come out with that English speakers haven't a clue what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Like that.
Oh, technically homunculus is
I know. You know what I mean there.
Oh, it's not so fun when you get the shoes on the other foot, isn't there?
What, me?
Yeah. You like to correct people all the time, and you goddamn know it.
It's not that I like it. I don't like false knowledge. That's all. So when people get stuff wrong, it just irritates me.
Like Leicestershire.
I gave you that one because Americans just never get that right. Unless they've lived in the UK and have been to Leicestershire, they're never going to pronounce that word right.
Leicestershire. God, it's so dumb. There's like four letters that
aren't pronounced. The thing is, it's not just the first bit, which is really weird. It's just that Americans often say Shire as if it's from Lord of the Rings instead of Sure.
Yeah. Well, I know. I got Sure right. I remember that it was Sure.
Yes, you did. I was impressed.
So yeah, thank you. No, I have been to England before, I haven't gone to a lot of places there. I have family in Coventry. There's like nothing there. It was boring. But I like England. Everybody was friendly, as opposed to when I went to France and everybody was an asshole. They don't like Americans. They don't like Americans, and they really don't like Germans. Two things I found out. They also didn't like Italians that year because we beat them in the World Cup. So
I like how you call yourself Italian American then. You're both.
My dad. Well, yeah, my dad was born in Italy, so I count it. And then my mom's ancestry literally goes all the way back to the Revolutionary War. So I am Italian and American, as pure as it could be. I am 1/2 Italian, 1/2 American. There is no doubt about it. But, anyways, I think we're reaching a good point so that we don't go too long. I've noticed that people watch the video a bit more frequently when there's less, rather than 3 hours. We used to have those 3 hours ones. What is this? What are you sending me?
Sorry, that's the video too the guy is on about.
Oh, okay.
Look at that. Look at his face.
Yeah.
Try not to get turned on too much.
Is he shitting while he's taking this video, or?
I don't know.
All right, guys. Anyways, I'm gonna end it here. That's I don't know how to end it. That's ending.
Do you do something? What? Do you want to try and arrange something a bit different for next week? Get some famous face on, or semi-famous face.
If you can do that, yeah. It might not be that Saturday though. I'm moving back into my dorm on Saturday, so yeah. Either the Sunday or the Friday before.
Okay,
But,
I mean,
yeah.
Gloves can have a competition to get a bigger name on, shall we? Just
Whoever does,
on
I owe you my love and compassion.
I only accept blowjobs, I'm afraid. No,
God.
love and compassion are just words. It has to be physical. Come on, pay up.
All right, fine. Well, then I
Compassionate
hope
blowjobs.
I didn't say from you, mind. I just said just blowjob.
I have to somehow get it to you by some means. I'm pretty sure that's called prostitution, but
Okay, yeah. Well, you're Italian. You're allowed to be a pimp, aren't you? Or is that South Americans always forget?
no, South Americans are drugs. We're the pimps. You're right.
Oh, okay.
All right. Thanks, guys, for coming on.